Hey everybody, Mark Schultz here. Thanks for joining us in this second snippet in a small series of interesting information about blockchain within aviation. And I have special guests with us here today, Stefan Floster and Michael Shea. Hi guys, how are you today?
Hey Mark, how are you?
Hi Mark.
Very good. Excellent. They're with a company called eWingz. And Michael, what is eWingz?
eWingz is a organization that is focusing on the aviation space and bringing the reduction or elimination of paper, turning it to data, and making it available across the enterprises, across the organizations.
Excellent, excellent. Well, Stefan and Michael are the founders of eWingz, and we're fortunate enough to have them here today to answer a little bit of interesting questions that we've had from people about blockchain and how it applies in aviation. And today's topic is really digital identity and aviation. And so a question I have for you, Michael, first is that when you say identity, what do you really mean by that?
Well, everything has identity. Everything that whether it's an individual, there is identity around all the parts of a business, all the parts of an organization, and what we do. Historically, in our analog or paper world, it appears or it disappears into the background, and we're not really aware of it. As we move to a digital environment, this changes, and we're now becoming far more conscious of what identity actually means. And it becomes very critical, actually becomes a critical point for all business operations.
Okay. Can we break that down just a little bit further? You know, is said in another way, you know, what are really the facets of identity? What does that really mean?
Well, identity really has three dimensions. There's identity of organization. So a business is a legal person, right? By law, a corporation has a legal status, a legal entity. Individuals obviously have identity. And what is really the new thing, or the new element, is things have identities. Internet of Things, parts. In the aviation space, it could be assemblies, it could be a landing gear and all the components that make up a landing gear. It could be a flight path of a particular flight that has an identity, it has characteristics, it has certain elements that are unique for that one aircraft, flight plan, date, passenger manifest combination. So that all creates the identity of that particular operation. So that is really the layers of digital identity, and it is very relevant to what we're talking about here.
Yeah, you know, it's really interesting to me because we don't always think of blockchain and digital identity and all the different applications that it really has. You know, hey, everybody in business is about monetizing things, and you know, and how do they make money using these technologies, digital identity and you know, and blockchain. So really, what are the business opportunities, Stefan? Can you kind of enlighten us a little bit about that?
Oh yeah, so I think one of the most important opportunities what we see in the MRO world is creating a digital twin, either for a part, which is then related to a digital identity, or an aircraft in total. So I think that's the most important use case, actually, what can be generated. And especially, you know, when then you talk about data who are linked to such an identity, like a digital certificate, as we know them, FAA forms or EASA forms or whatever form. And those then can be verified digital. So that's something completely new. So you can highly automate processes afterwards just by reading, let's say, UHF RFID tags. So this is something was really never existed as before. So that's completely new.
Okay, all right. All right, I see what you guys are talking about. It's all really super interesting information. So really, what are the results from digital identity? Michael, where do you go with all that?
So once you start to turn all of your parts of your operations into their digital counterpart, you start to open up whole areas of operating your business in a different manner. You start to make data and information available in a form such that it can be automated through process automation. It can be applied into machine learning, artificial intelligence. there's just an enormous array of capability that opens up as a result of these process changes and these sort of fundamental changes in the way we are looking at devices, individuals, and organizations.
Okay. Wow. There's just so many different facets of blockchain and its applicability and digital identity and how this all fits together. You know, most people really want to learn a lot more. I tell you that when I first wanted to start learning about blockchain and digital identity, I went out and started doing some searching on the internet, and I found some really interesting videos that were out there, and immediately my eyes just sort of glazed over, and I couldn't really grasp it. I mean, there was just too much there. And so in response to that, you know, the average person that wants to learn more about this, Stefan and Michael have committed to educating and communicating in industry, and they're going to have a webinar coming up. Actually on Wednesday, July 24th is going to be the first one. And you have the opportunity to join this free webinar to be able to learn some information about this and just decide or see how this can apply, you know, really to your company. And there's going to be a webinar at 1500 Central European Time, 9 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and that's on Wednesday, July 24th. And then there's going to be a second one on the same day, which is 1800 Central European Time, 12 noon Eastern Daylight Time, 9 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. And Michael and Stefan are going to go over some really interesting topics. They're going to get a little bit more in depth and talk really about this concept of blockchain and digitalization and really how it applies within the industry, really to business, and how businesses can be successful in using and utilizing this technology. So I want to invite you to join in that. And down below where this video has been posted, there's going to be a link which you can click on and you can sign up for that free webinar. Don't miss it. It's going to be really exciting. Hey, guys, there's the next segment that we do in this video. You've told me is going to be about digital identity and aviation, but you know, one of the things I think questions people have out there is there really enough digital data out there for this digitalization concept and you know, digital twins and some of those words that you've been throwing around. So you aren't going to want to miss it. That's going to be the next interesting topic. Stefan, Michael, thanks for sharing today. Good information. All right.
You're welcome. Talk to you, Mark.
Okay, guys. Bye now. Yep.